This is Brass Tacks and I'm Zakka. Jacob, the BJP has hit out at Rahul Gandhi using the cover of a Mediapart investigation which claims that the Organization for Crime and Corruption Reporting, OCCRP, which is a consortium of journalists and media organizations around the world, is funded by the billionaire George Soros and the United States State Department. The BJP has said that Rahul Gandhi is speaking the same language as Soros and his affiliates. The Congress has written to the Lok Sabha Speaker asking that action be taken against BJP Member of Parliament Sambit Patra, who accused Rahul Gandhi of treason. The big question is, who then is indulging in this conspiracy to derail the parliament? If at all, this was a conspiracy to begin with, a conspiracy that can stand the test of law.
Largest democracy to be made dysfunctional by deep state anywhere else.
एक तरफ अमेरिका में बैठे जॉर्ज सोरोस उनकी फाउंडेशन, उस कोने में राहुल गांधी, ट्रेटर ऑफ द हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर। मुझे आज एलओपी लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन को देशद्रोही कहने में किसी प्रकार की कोई संकोच मुझे महसूस नहीं हुआ।
That day one onwards, Rahul Gandhi stood against Adani corruption. That day onwards, the agents of Adani, I'm telling the same word, agents of Adani started to abuse Rahul Gandhi. The member who spoke about these things should be given an apology and speaker should take the necessary action.
Let's try and explain the nub of the issue to our viewers before we open this up to our panelists. So the BJP's basic allegation, their basic contention is that Rahul Gandhi consistently finds himself at the forefront of issues which the BJP claims compromises national interests. Now, they are citing the antecedents of what is the OCCRP, or the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project. This was founded back in 2007. The OCCRP was founded in Sarajevo in Bosnia by Drew Sullivan. The idea was floated by Sullivan to the director of US aid back in 2003. Now, the group has allegedly connections to at least 50 media partners, some of them some of the biggest names in the world, including the New York Times, Washington Post, Der Spiegel, and Le Monde in France. They allegedly received about $47 million from the United States government. They got funding to the tune of $14 million from European Union nations, $1.1 million from the European Union itself. George Soros' Open Society Foundation, or OSF, is also one of the top donors to OCCRP. Now, the OSF, it is alleged, gave a grant of as much as $800,000 to OCCRP for increasing wider impact. Now, the point is simply this, that the BJP is drawing a connection between George Soros, OCCRP, and Rahul Gandhi, saying that Rahul Gandhi's talking points to disrupt parliament, his allegations against the Adani group, his allegations against the Covaxin, are all born from OCCRP investigations, which are funded in part by the George Soros funded Open Societies Foundation and in other part by the United States government or the United States State Department. Now, let's open this up to our panelists. Sanju Verma is national spokesperson of the BJP, Pooja Tripathi, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Rashid Kidwai, senior journalist, joining us, Karan Verma, author, is also joining us. Sanju Verma, let me start with you first. It is a simple, basic question which is being asked by the Congress Party. Today, a spokesperson, member of parliament of your party, even went to the extent of saying that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a traitor of the highest order. What is the basis for making such an outlandish claim? What is the hard, concrete evidence that you have to prove that Mr. Gandhi is working with anti-national forces? This is premised basically on conjecture that there is OCCRP and George Soros and they're all working in cahoots with Rahul Gandhi to disrupt parliament. What is the evidentiary basis of these claims?
Zakka, I will answer your question very pointedly. First and foremost, let's not forget that barely 2 years back, Rahul Gandhi, at a public forum in Cambridge University, says that a large chunk of democracy has come undone in India, and the US and the European Union are ignoring the process of democracy being under attack in India. Secondly, barely a few months back, Rahul Gandhi at an event in Texas and then at an event in Virginia says that the Sikh community in India is not allowed to wear turban, not allowed to wear a kada, and this is not just limited to the Sikh community. Religious freedom has come under attack in India. But I will now come to the moot point of the debate today. Let's be very clear that the OCCRP has received at least $47 million from the US deep state, and a large chunk of the funding, at least 70%, has come from George Soros and his affiliate organizations like Open Society Foundation. Now, how is Rahul Gandhi linked to George Soros or OSF? I will tell you something. Do you remember Bharat Jodo Yatra? Who was the man who was accompanying Rahul Gandhi during the Bharat Jodo Yatra? It was a man called Salil Shetty. Who is Salil Shetty? Salil Shetty is the vice president of OSF / the George Soros group. Do you remember a man called Harsh Mandar? Harsh Mandar was a part of the National Advisory Council that functioned under the aegis of Sonia Gandhi. And Harsh Mandar, for the longest time, has been running OSF as one of the members of its trustee bodies. Now let's talk about Shiv Shankar Menon. Who is Shiv Shankar Menon? Shiv Shankar Menon was the National Security Advisor when Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. And Shiv Shankar Menon has also on and off headed the Open Society Foundation, either as its trustee member or as its vice president, what have you. Now let's talk about some other hard facts. Be it Pegasus, be it the farmers' protests, be it this entire fracas around Adani, be it the BBC documentary, be it the Manipur violence-related issues, or be it issues pertaining to the COVID pandemic at the height of the second wave in 2021. All these issues were highlighted by OCCRP before every parliament session was about to start in India, and it was abetted, encouraged by the propaganda machinery of Rahul Gandhi / the Congress ecosystem.
No, but Sanju Verma, if you are alleging such grave charges against Mr. Rahul Gandhi, put him in jail. Charge him under 420, okay. Charge him under sedition. Yes. Why are you allowing him to be Zakka, leader of the opposition?
Zakka, you've asked me a question. I will just take 10 seconds more. Now the most important thing, Zakka. OCCRP has said that Adani needs to be investigated. Fine. Adani will be investigated as per Indian law of the land, not as per the US ecosystem. But I find it very surprising that both Mediapath and OCCRP have only named Adani as part of the 40 companies listed by the DRI. In these other 40 companies, you have companies like Tamil Nadu Newsprint, Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, you have Gujarat State Electricity Corporation, you have MNPC, you have companies like Coastal Energy Limited, SR Oil, SR Power, you have India Cements, you have JSW Steel, you have OPG Power Group.
No, Sanju Verma, these are all corporate entities. You are you are alleging that certain organizations have made allegations against those groups. My point is, if you are going to take seriously these things, go ahead, open an investigation against all of them. No, including Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Charge him with treason. Your spokesperson today said, I have no hesitation. These are his words, Mr. Patra's words. I have no hesitation in calling the leader of the opposition the traitor of the highest order. Election Commission should ban him from contesting elections.
No.
Why?
Zakka, let me just tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing, because today, Zakka, you're very aggressive and I'm happy to see your aggression.
I'm asking a very simple question. This was a contention made by Mr. Patra, your colleague in the party, Zakka, that Mr. Gandhi should be charged with the traitor of the highest order. Go ahead. What's stopping you?
Can I finish?
Charge him. No, charge him as being traitor of the highest order.
Zakka, why is it that you are heckling the BJP spokesperson? You are not prone to doing that ever. I've never seen you doing it. Let me answer your
pointed question. Why am I not
heckling
the BJP spokesperson? You are the BJP spokesperson, aren't you?
Why? You never heckle BJP spokespersons or anyone for that matter. Why are you doing differently today is my limited submission.
Okay.
Yes.
So now let me go to the Congress spokesperson.
No,
Ms. Pooja Tripathi, what is your response to the allegations by the BJP that the Congress party and in particular your leader Mr. Rahul Gandhi has conspired with OCCRP, an organization that is funded by the George Soros and by the US State Department, to specifically undermine Indian interests. Right after OCCRP did an investigation about Covaxin, the leader of the opposition, then he was not leader of the opposition, he was Congress leader, he raised doubts about Covaxin. Right after OCCRP did an investigation against a corporate entity, Mr. Gandhi went to town asking questions about that corporate entity. Basically, the BJP's contention is Mr. Rahul Gandhi is doing the bidding of the State Department and of George Soros and of the Open Societies Foundation. He is not working in national interests. Please respond, Pooja Tripathi.
Zakka, you just asked BJP spokesperson a simple question. What's the proof? What's the proof against this absolutely ridiculous and provocative allegation that you have made today in press conference? And Nishikant Dubey went on to derail all the parliamentary ethics, and he just he just abused the parliamentary privileges of Mr. Rahul Gandhi as a leader of opposition by name calling him without giving him an advance notice, and they just come from a la la land. My question is, why is the whole BJP ecosystem? We ask them we are asking them JPC on the corporate corruption, on the alleged misdoings, on the investment fraud, on the bribe worth 2,029 crore given to state governments, on why is SEBI colliding with Adani. Why there's monopoly of government?
You colluding with Adani. You prove that SEBI is colluding with Adani.
Ma'am, please, one at a time. Please, one at a time. One at a time, please. Otherwise, our viewers will get confused with both of you speaking over each other. Ms. Tripathi, please stick to the question I asked you. If you have allegations against Mr. whoever, corporate entity, go ahead, file a case in court. Why are you holding up parliament? Even your own allies, Samajwadi Party, TMC, are not taking part in the protest along with you. Why? Because they don't believe in your conviction.
I don't agree to that.
What do you mean you don't agree to that? Last 3 days, Congress party has been protesting at Makar Dwar in the Lok Sabha. Neither TMC nor Samajwadi Party has been part of that protest. Why? Please explain to me.
So let Congress lead it. Congress is leading it.
No, you're part of the India Alliance or not part of the India Alliance? Is TMC a member of the India Alliance? Is Samajwadi Party a member of the India Alliance or not? If you are not, then please say so to the people of this country. If you are not taking part in the protest, then please say so to the people of this country. Who are you trying to fool?
We are the biggest opposition party and we are leading.
Ma'am, I am asking you a simple question. You are the leaders of the India Alliance. Two big parties in India Alliance. In fact, they are the second and third biggest parties in India Alliance. Samajwadi Party with 37 MPs, TMC with 31 MPs. Why are they not part of your Adani protest? Please tell me.
We are the biggest. Let us, even if one person questions about the alleged misdoing, even if one person questions about the corporate corruption.
I need to answer this, Zakka. You cut me short last time.
Okay, Sanju Verma respond and then I'll go to the other two guests. Yes, Sanju Verma.
Yes, she just...
No, let Sanju Verma respond. Yeah, Sanju Verma. Okay, Pooja Tripathi, you made your point. Let Sanju Verma respond. Yeah.
This is not being personal, but I have been on a zillion debates where anchors have never asked the Congress spokesperson to prove that SEBI has engaged in a mala fide manner. The BJP is asked to prove that Narendra Modi और अडानी के बीच में कोई untoward सा रिश्ता नहीं है. But Congress is never asked to substantiate charges very quickly in 20 seconds. Today we have 7 listed companies of Adani. 5 came about when Congress was in power. Adani Enterprises, the flagship company, came about when Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister in 1993. 85,000 crore thermal power projects in Rajasthan were given to Adani when Ashok Gehlot of the Congress was Rajasthan CM. 45,000 mining projects were given in Chhattisgarh to Adani when Bhupesh Baghel was the Chhattisgarh CM. He is from the Congress. Yes, people have forgotten. And 12,400 crore worth of projects today are being handled in Telangana on by Adani, thanks to Revanth Reddy.
But ma'am, the moot point is that the Department of Justice has put out charges, indictments, which happened in 2021, 2022, when your government was in power. And the allegation is that the company, the so-called company and its promoters bribed government officials to buy power at higher rates. That did not happen in 1993 when Narasimha Rao was Prime Minister. Anyway. let me now go across to the other two guests. Let's move out the two political spokespersons. Let me go across to Rashid Kidwai. Rashid Kidwai, the point that's being asked is OCCRP is being accused of being influenced by US government funding. 70% of its funding comes from the US State Department. The remaining funding comes from George Soros' Open Societies Foundation. And the BJP says Mr. Rahul Gandhi is talking the talking points of George Soros Foundation and the US State Department. How can you assure the public of this country that the leading opposition in this country, the opposition party in this country, is not being played as part of a broader conspiracy orchestrated by foreign powers against the Indian government and against Indian businesses?
Zakka, several questions. First of all, the criminality aspect of what Rahul Gandhi is saying. If BJP thinks he's being reckless, he's being, unsubstantiated allegations and all, that is, one can understand allegations and all. That is, one can understand that point of view. But to say that, he's indulging in things that are amount to treason or sedition, or, he's basically a tool, a puppet of, foreign powers who are, who are sort of anti-India. This reminds me of 1970s or earlier time when Indira Gandhi, every time there was some crisis, then she would always raise the bogey of foreign hand. Foreign hand, I am not discounting it. The world we are living in, it's very much possible. But there is a government, accountable government, efficient government, effective government. If such things are happening, then it's the responsibility of the government of the day to act upon.
But Rashid, please tell me, as leader of the opposition, holding a constitutional post, when Mr. Gandhi asks questions about an India-made vaccine, aren't people going to be influenced by his views?
Tell me, Zakka,
he is holding a substantial position, a constitutional position.
How is it? No. We must establish, Zakka, the criminal aspect of it. My friend Sanju Verma is saying it is a criminal act. So I want to know, if it is a criminal act, okay, then the government of India should act upon it.
No, defamation is also part criminal. There is criminal defamation, there is civil defamation. Surely the makers of Coaxin can ask on what basis did Mr. Gandhi make those claims.
She's free to do so. What do
you mean he's free to do so?
No.
He can't make those claims that are unless they are substantiated.
Zakka, if I feel that you are making things that are defamatory in nature, then I must act. You cannot be acting on your own.
I need to come in here, Zakka.
See, the more important thing, Zakka, what she has said, and which I find it very sort of revealing and a very poor reflection on Mr. Narendra Modi government, that the former NSA, none other than NSA, former NSA, Shiv Shankar Menon's name, she has brought in on a live public debate on a national, television, saying that he's been acting against the interests of the country. She is also named the highest.
Okay, Sanju Verma, respond to that, and then I'll go to Karan Verma after that. Yeah.
I would request Sanju Verma to either substantiate her allegations against Mr. Shiv Shankar Menon, or retract or apologize.
Ms. Verma, yeah. Let her answer. Yeah.
I want to add how is farmers.
No, 1 second. Pooja Tripathi, 1 second. I'll come to you. Let Sanju Verma answer. Yeah.
Mr. Kidwai, it's not very tough to Google and search on the internet. Let me tell you and let me reinforce what I said. Shiv Shankar Menon, who was the National Security Advisor when Manmohan Singh / Sonia Gandhi's government was running India, he has been a part of the Open Society Foundation, either as Vice President or as one of the member trustees of George Soros' Open Society Foundation. I'm saying it loud and clear. Rahul Gandhi gets up in the morning, takes dictations from Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, Soros Foundation, and then he says, Adani. Pegasus. COVID vaccine. BBC documentary which undermined the credibility of Supreme Court, which gave a clean chit to Narendra Modi. Rahul Gandhi was peddling BBC documentaries, nefarious agenda.
Let me ask Karan Verma. The moot point is today the BJP spokesperson and member of parliament Dr. Sambit Patra came out and said that this is a triangular nexus. There's Rahul Gandhi, there's OCCRP, and there is George Soros. Now my very simple question to you is, Karan Verma, what evidence does the BJP have to support this claim that Rahul Gandhi is part of this dangerous triangular nexus involving George Soros and OCCRP? How does the BJP respond to the accusations that this is simply A, unsubstantiated, and B, this is a narrative to deflect from the very serious issues that this government is facing. 5.4% has been the growth in the last quarter.
So, Zakka, you asked me what is the evidence. We need to open our eyes. It's right there glaring, staring us in the eye pretty much. If we choose to close our eyes, then it's a different thing altogether. George Soros in 2020 at Davos openly says that I have pledged $1 billion to overthrow and destabilize nationalist governments in countries like India and USA. He's clearly said his agenda pretty much. Sanju ji rightly pointed out that Salil Shetty, he is the vice president of Open Society Foundation, the foundation that is saying we want to destabilize the government here in India. So that man is with Rahul Gandhi on 11th October 2022 during the Bharat Jodo Yatra saying that we need to get rid of this government. So, I mean, that's a clear link. I'll give you another clear link. Harsh Mandel, as again Sanju ji pointed out, he was a part of the National Advisory Council. Now, Harsh Mandel runs two NGOs. One is Aman Biradari and the second is the Quill Foundation, which prepares the Doto database, which has people like Teesta Setalwad. Now, Teesta Setalwad is someone who has been pulled up by our Supreme Court, our sovereign India's Supreme Court, for tutoring and fabricating evidences and tutoring witnesses. So these are people whose NGOs are facing inquiries, are pretty much banned. So, you know, the links are there for us to see. And Zakka, this is no longer a conspiracy theory. Let's be clear about it. Deep state is a reality in today's day and age. In America, it has been called out by the Republican Party. We are seeing what the deep state was up to there. It is a reality. It has destabilized regimes. We would be living in cuckoo's land if we are in denial of that.
You know what, Karan, if that is the case, then the state, the government of India should put all of these people in jail. Why are they not doing that?
So Zakka, there are two things.
One second. Your name is not Karan Verma. Let Karan Verma respond, please. Yeah, thank you.
Zakka, one thing.
Yes, Mr. Karan Verma and nobody else on screen. Thank you.
You don't.
So, Zakka, one thing is criminality, the other is having anti-national interests at heart. Look at what, in the Narmada Dam, what happened. Medha Patkar, she sat against the raising of the height of the Narmada Dam. Today, because of the raising of the height, we have 2.4 million hectares of farmland receiving that water, 1.4 million homes receiving that power, 33 million receiving that water. She wanted to deprive our country of that. What happened with the Citizens for Green Dune? They stalled the construction of the roads by the BRO along the LAC border. If not for that stalling, if not for the Supreme Court pulling them up, Supreme Court said you had anti-national interests at heart. Today, critical infrastructure is being stalled by these NGOs in the guise of environmental hazards, in the guise of humanity. Vaccine hesitancy is perpetrated. These are anti-national interests which are there for us to see. Yes, we might not be able to book them and convict them for a crime, but in the courts of the people, we can surely today connect the dots and see that they have the anti-national interests at heart.
Okay, let me go back to the political spokespersons. Sanju Verma, can you please explain how and on what basis the BJP believes that Mr. Rahul Gandhi's tirade, whether it is against Covaxin, certain corporate groups following OCCRP reports, as you allege, is indicative of a conspiracy against India rather than what many would call legitimate political dissent? And in a democracy, as an opposition leader, he is free to dissent against your government.
I want to ask you one thing, Zakka.
No, why are you asking me? I am not Rahul Gandhi's spokesperson. Please ask Pooja
Can I
Tripathi.
please finish? You don't need to be so sarcastic.
No, why are you asking me? I'm not the one who's supposed to be asked questions. Please ask Pooja Tripathi.
Either be the anchor or be the panelist because you keep heckling. Can I please finish without you interjecting me or heckling me?
Please don't ask me any questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I've been called for a debate, I need time to answer. I don't need you to heckle me. Thank you so
Please
much,
answer,
Zakka.
don't question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I will answer and I will question too. It's my right.
Yeah, you can question Rahul Gandhi. By all means, please go ahead.
I will ask questions of whoever I wish. Let me complete. Please don't interject. Thank you so much. The limited point is this, Zakka. I think the most anti-national tirade that Rahul Gandhi has, subjected India to is the one pertaining to Galwan. And I'm sure Mr. Kidwai will agree here with me. Barely a year back, he goes again to a public forum at Cambridge in the United Kingdom, despite Rajnath Singh saying not an inch of territory has been ceded. Despite Union Home Minister Amit Shah saying not an inch of territory has been ceded. Despite External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar saying not an inch of territory has been ceded. This man goes and says, चीन को हमने 2000 किलोमीटर की अपनी इंडियन टेरिटरी गोल्डन प्लेटर पर दे दी है. From where does this man Rahul Gandhi cough up these numbers? 2,000 square kilometers has been handed to China on a golden platter is what this man claims. Is
Okay.
that not anti-national? Now the next question, why is he not in prison? So let me tell you, we are not a banana republic. Rahul Gandhi is indicted in the National Herald scam and the law will take its course because people say, oh, Adani has been indicted. Indicted does not mean you're guilty. Indicted simply means you have been formally charged. Sonia Gandhi has been indicted in the National Herald scam. P. Chidambaram has been indicted in the INX media scam. Arvind Kejriwal is indicted in the Delhi liquor scam. Mamata Banerjee's nephew Abhishek Banerjee is indicted in the cash for job scam.
Okay.
Ashok Gehlot, son Vaibhav Gehlot is indicted in the Rajasthan recruitment board scam.
Fair
तो
point.
सबका हिसाब होगा. जरूर
Okay.
होगा. Rahul
So
Gandhi
let-
का भी हिसाब होगा.
Let Ms.
Sonia Gandhi
Tripathi,
का भी
let Ms.
हिसाब
Tripathi
होगा.
respond. First of all, your leader is out on bail on the National Herald case. He is hardly anybody to raise fingers of corruption against any corporate entity, number one. Number two, the point that she made about China. How can he say that 2,000 square kilometers have been given away to China? What is his evidentiary basis to make such a claim?
Exactly, सबका हिसाब होगा. Exactly how Ajit Pawar was called by Prime Minister Modi just 20,000 crore ka aadmi, and then he goes on to becomes deputy CM, and today also he's taken oath as deputy CM. He's all chit and clean. Hemanta Biswa Sarma, all famished and all clean.
But ma'am, I'm not asking you a question about Ajit Pawar or Hemanta Biswa. I'm asking you a question about Rahul Gandhi, your leader, ma'am. Ma'am, सवाल पे जवाब दीजिए, please.
Opposition leaders on corruption. Zakka, let me complete. You let Sanju complete. When you cherry pick opposition leaders and you unleash ED and CBI, this is going to happen. And when you are talking that George Soros, rings up Rahul Gandhi every morning and tells him this is what he has to do. So when France, when Israel, when Bangladesh, when Sri Lanka, when Switzerland, when Australia, they have cancelled or are re-looking at the Adani deals. Is it George Soros doing? Just now, Bharatiya Janata Party spokesperson brought up a farmers' protest, which they were black-faced and they had to roll back the whole farmers' bill. And she said it's a propaganda by external state. She said it's a propaganda by external state. The whole state of Manipur is burning in last 1.5 years. And she has the audacity to go on to blame the external state for
No,
it.
but ma'am, I'm asking you a question about Rahul Gandhi and the allegations that the BJP has made against your leader. आप तो कुछ और पे बोल रहे हैं. You're talking about farm bill, you're talking about Himanta, you're talking about this.
I have a list. Yeah,
No,
I have a
Pooja
list of
Tripathi,
people they were
specific
just
question
naming.
was
Zakka,
asked
let
to
me
you.
complete.
Allegation
I
has been
didn't
made by
interrupt anyone.
BJP that your leader is on bail. He should be hardly anyone to raise allegations of corruption against anybody. Please respond to the question that's been asked
I'm
to you.
saying my leader is on bail. Go ahead and arrest him. They've just been swaying away, and the moment somebody enters BJP, gets on the patta, BJP is all efficiently. They were just naming people: Salil Shetty and Harsh Mandar and Narmada Bachao Andolan and all. I have a list of people. Saifullah Farooq was a noted terrorist. He was given Bharatiya Janata Party ticket to contest the corporations in Srinagar. Talib Hussain Shah.
No, we are not discussing about terrorism and terror claims anyway. That's a different debate altogether.
Can I make a
Final
point?
word, I want to go to Rashid and then after that Karan Verma will get the final word. Rashid, the point is Mediapart is a very reputed international media organization. If OCCRP is claiming to be this, at the vanguard of investigating organized crime and corruption, how can they not disclose the fact that 70% of their funding comes either from George Soros' Open Societies Foundation or it comes from the US State Department? How can then they be claiming to be at the vanguard of organized crime and corruption reporting when they can't investigate either against the US government or against George Soros?
So, Zakka, you have a point, but what is Government of India doing? Government of India can set up a commission of inquiry, they can set up a body, they can, put up something. It just cannot be in the realm of allegations. And that is my problem with all this sort of so-called, charge sheet that Mr. Karan Verma and, Sanju Verma are saying. This is all, kind of Tota Maina ki kahani. If you feel strongly, if you have a, some kind of thing that brings an element of a criminal conspiracy or any serious crime, that person should not be let off. See, a corporate house name, Zakka, is constantly mentioned. I am very intrigued, Zakka, why should the BJP spokesperson be defending that corporate house? Is very much capable of defending itself.
People who are engaged in wealth creation.
Okay, I have to give the final word to Karan Verma. Karan Verma, the point that Pooja Tripathi made in 2015, 9 years ago, Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi got bail in the National Herald case. For 9 years, What has Mr. Modi's government been doing? Why have they let them scot-free? Arrest them, put them in jail.
So they are out on bail anyway, Zakka.
So for 9 years they are out on bail.
So yeah, we can debate that about our justice system. But let me answer what Mr. Kidwai just said. He said Tota Maina ki kahani. Mr. Kidwai, our courts are not Tota Maina ki kahani. When a Supreme Court appointed panel gives a clean chit to Adani and says that actually the short sellers who made money because of that dubious Hindenburg report should be prosecuted. And that is,
No, one at a time, please. I asked the question to Karan Verma. Let Karan Verma respond. Please, one at a time. Yeah, Karan Verma.
So when our Supreme Court gives it a clean chit, when there are 49 investigations, Zakka, including one by the Karnataka Lokayukt, where even the promoters of Adani have been investigated, then that is not a Tota Maina ki kahani. The fact is, Zakka, that the great Indian story is being targeted at 3 levels today. Indian businessmen like Adani, they were cheering on. Can you imagine? Pawan Khera was cheering on when Adani lost a deal to China in Africa. Can any sane person who has national interests at heart actually be cheering for an Indian company losing a contract? They cheered on when critical infrastructure was stalled along the LAC and the Supreme Court said it. So, sir, this is not Tota Maina ki kahani. Our courts have come heavily on all those who tried to stall our progress. And unfortunately, Congress is the loudmouth, is the speaker gramophone of George Soros when we talk about it.
I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Karan Verma, Sanju Verma, Rashid Kidwai and Pooja Tripathi for joining us. Let's see how this plays out. Obviously both in Parliament and outside. But the other big story that we're tracking tonight, and that is of course from Sanju Verma's home state in Maharashtra. What an epic comeback, politically speaking, it has been for Devendra Fadnavis. He's back as Chief Minister for the 3rd time and with the biggest mandate, not just for the BJP, but arguably the biggest mandate that the state has seen in God knows 30 plus years. Today was the swearing in. He was sworn in as Chief Minister of Maharashtra along with 2 deputies, Eknath Shinde and Ajit Pawar. We'll get into the details in 1 second, but first, the pictures from the swearing in this evening.
मी देवेंद्र सरिता गंगाधरराव फडणवीस ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
मी अजित आशाताई अनंतराव पवार
ईश्वर साक्ष शपथ घेतो की
All right, so will Mahayuti 2.0 be smooth sailing or not? The question was before the swearing in, will Eknath Shinde take oath or not? That has now been finally put to rest. The Mahayuti trio, that is Devendra Fadnavis, Eknath Shinde, Ajit Pawar, took oath at the Azad Maidan today in presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and top NDA ministers and chief ministers. Bollywood celebrities, top businessmen of India Inc. were all present for the historic swearing-in ceremony. The oath-taking ceremony was preceded by weeks of intense speculation in political quarters about who gets what, which portfolio, and whether, of course, Mr. Shinde will agree to be Deputy Chief Minister. The Mahayuti 2.0 held its first cabinet meeting soon after the swearing-in. Fadnavis said that as Chief Minister, his first signature was giving 5 lakh rupees from the Mukhyamantri Sabhyata Nidhi for bone marrow transplant to a patient. He also asserted that the portfolios will be finalized soon and there will be minor changes to some of the ministries as assigned in the previous government.
ऐसा कोई डिले है ऐसा मैं नहीं मानता. इससे पहले भी 2004 में करीब 12-13 दिन का डिले हुआ था. 2009 में भी करीब 9 दिन का डिले था. तो कई बार हम लोगों को ये समझ लेना पड़ेगा कि कोएलिशन की गवर्नमेंट होती है तो उसमें बहुत निर्णय करने पड़ते हैं. एक पार्टी की सरकार होती है तो निर्णय एक ही पार्टी को करना है. कोएलिशन की गवर्नमेंट में बहुत बड़े पैमाने पर कंसल्टेशन करना पड़ता है. वो कंसल्टेशन हमने किया है. करीब करीब हमारे नंबर्स भी हमने फ्रीज किए हैं. वो कितने अभी हम नहीं बताएंगे, वो पार्टियां बताएंगी, इसलिए मुझे पूछो मत. और पोर्टफोलियो को भी अभी हम लोगों ने करीब करीब फाइनलाइज किया है. कुछ थोड़ा बचा है उसमें, वो भी कर लेंगे. तो मुझे लगता है कि अब हमारे सामने जो प्रश्न थे वो प्रश्न धीरे धीरे समाप्त हो गए.
Meanwhile, Shinde Sena and the NCP are trying their best to convince the BJP to get the lion's share of the Maharashtra cabinet portfolios. The NDA sources have revealed that discussions are going on for another couple of more days. BJP has made it clear that they will not compromise on the home portfolio and that will stay with the BJP. It is likely that Ajit Pawar will continue to hold the finance ministry, which of course he held in the previous government as well. The BJP is likely to offer revenue department to a sulking Shinde Sena. However, Urban Development Department has now become the new bone of contention between Mr. Shinde and the BJP. The BJP too has shown an inclination for getting the Urban Development Department. While the BJP has already decided its candidates for the cabinet portfolios, its alliance partners Shiv Sena and the NCP are yet to give the names of who else will be ministers in the Fadnavis cabinet. No decision has been taken yet on either the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker of the Legislative Assembly. The Legislative Council Chairman and Deputy Chairman posts are also up for discussions between the three alliance partners. So the road ahead. What is the road ahead for the Mahayuti government and why it's not such an easy one? The Maharashtra government under Devendra Fadnavis does face some big challenges and it'll be interesting to see if it survives the test of fiscal prudence. That is the biggest concern. The poll promises that have put a further strain on the state's exchequer. The state has to repay 2.75 lakh crores of debt in the next 7 years. The state's debt burden has been estimated at 7.82 lakh crores for fiscal year 24-25. The other thing, of course, as Devendra Fadnavis said a moment ago, it's about coalition management. This is not a single party government. There are three parties and all three of them need to be mollycoddled. Chief Minister Fadnavis will have to navigate the complexities of leading a coalition government, balancing the interests of the Shiv Sena, the NCP, and of course his own party, the BJP. The Shinde government, the Shinde faction, of course, is still reportedly sulking. So Fadnavis will have to ensure that he does not get the opportunity, that is Mr. Shinde, to embarrass the Mahayuti 2.0 government. Also, smooth governance. There are high expectations now for governance improvements, including addressing corruption charges, enhancing infrastructure, ensuring ease of doing business, etc. The Chief Minister must also tackle issues like electricity prices, agricultural support, at the same time maintaining political stability. And of course, urban issues. Mumbai, other urban centres, Pune, Nashik, etc. face issues like traffic congestion, pollution, inadequate public transport. The new government will need to push for sustainable urban development and also infrastructure upgrades. There is agricultural distress as well. There are about 40 or 50 constituencies, and we showed this on the Magic Wall during the election season, which are desperately in need of agricultural grievance redressal mechanisms, whether it is droughts, farmer suicides, lack of remunerative prices for crops. All these issues need to be addressed by the new government under Devendra Fadnavis, while at the same time ensuring farmer welfare schemes are well executed. And then, of course, there is the underlying issue of the Maratha quota. Despite the BJP winning 40 out of 46 seats in Marathwada, the demand for reservation by Maratha community is still dominant in the political landscape of Maharashtra. The Supreme Court, remember, had struck down in 2018 the quota that was provided to the Maratha community in jobs and in education. The new government will have to find a solution to this vexed issue. Mayuresh is joining us live from Mumbai. Mayuresh, so is it a done deal now? Are all problems ironed out between these three principals, Mr. Shinde, Mr. Fadnavis and Mr. Pawar? Or what are still some of the sticking points that need to be ironed out?
Zakka, absolutely, we can say that the minor issues have been ironed out, but yes, the main issue is the portfolio allocation, which is yet to iron out. Though Fadnavis is saying that we have done with it and we have almost there and few minor changes will happen, but those minor changes will certainly crucial changes because we have been given to understand now also urban development is the key or we can say the bone of contention between the BJP and Shiv Sena, and Eknath Shinde is really hoping that his party will get a urban development department because of this, because of its importance. So, as you read it out, yes, the challenge in front of Devendra Fadnavis will be very, very much because he has to see the smooth communication within the alliance and also the issues like Maratha quota. Also, the promise which they have made to the sisters that they will increase the amount from 1,500 to 2,100, and also to see how they can reduce the burden, fiscal burden on the state in the next 5 years. So these all are the challenges, and how Devendra Fadnavis tackles these challenges, because he has got an experience as a chief minister of Maharashtra, and that time only Shiv Sena was there. But this time he has got additional partner, which is NCP and Ajit Pawar, who's got a vast experience of administration and how also about how to make policies. So certainly it will be like a very tough decision every time he has to make, and while taking those tough decisions, he has to consult both of them and keep them with him, so that all three of them can go together and all three of them can be on the same page. Back to you, Zakka.
All right, Mahesh, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Mahesh reporting for us tonight from Mumbai. Also, the Prime Minister in the last few minutes has just tweeted his first reactions to the Mahayuti government being administered the oath of office today. He has tweeted, and I quote, "Congratulations to Shri Devendra Fadnavis ji on taking oath as Maharashtra's Chief Minister. Congratulations also to Shri Eknath Shinde ji as well as Shri Ajit Pawar ji on taking oath as Deputy Chief Ministers of the state. This team is a blend of experience and dynamism, and it is due to this team's collective efforts that the Mahayuti has got a historic mandate in Maharashtra. This team will do everything possible to fulfill the aspirations of the people of the state and to ensure that there is good governance. I assure all possible support from the centre in furthering the development of Maharashtra." So that is the Prime Minister's tweet that's just come out in the last couple of minutes, expressing his goodwill, his thoughts, and of course his warm wishes for the new government under the Chief Ministership of Devendra Fadnavis. All right, let's move on to another breaking story that's coming in. Pushpa 2 has released The Rule, and that, of course, is a huge hit already. That's the review from the box office. But there was that unfortunate incident of a stampede that led to the death of a fan in a movie theatre in Hyderabad. Now a case has been registered against Allu Arjun, the lead actor in the movie Pushpa 2, over the stampede that happened in this theatre in Hyderabad. Additionally, a case has also been filed against the owners of the Sandhya Theatre where this unfortunate incident took place. They've been booked under criminal negligence. Sections 105 and 118 of the BNS have been imposed on the theatre owners. So Allu Arjun, the allegation against him is that he had appeared at the Sandhya Theatre when there was this stampede, and in that stampede one of his fans, I believe a 39-year-old woman, died in that stampede, and her son is battling for life. Let me go across to Swastika, who has more details on this. Very, very unfortunate and tragic incident that happened in one of the theatres. Have you heard anything from either the theatre owners or people close to Allu Arjun on their first response to the case being booked against these two entities?
Well, the theatre owners, in fact, are at the dock because majority of the cases are being filed against them, and they are at the risk of being blacklisted as well because they are the ones who did not give adequate information to the police. Police maintains that they did give bandobast but were not even expecting the entire entourage of the actor to arrive there. So that's case number one. With respect to Allu Arjun, he has been named as, he's likely to be named as accused 4 or 5, mainly because it was his security guard, security team which had started pushing the people, creating that chaos and triggering that melee that saw and claimed the life of one woman, and her son, in fact, is battling for his life. While actor Allu Arjun was inside the theatre watching the film, that is when in the aftermath the stampede-like situation broke out, so much so that the police had to resort to lathi charging, but that did nothing much on the ground. We're waiting for the official response from actor Allu Arjun's team, but via sources we are given to understand that they have agreed to comply with the police, and in fact are mulling at the next legal course of action. They have not announced any kind of compensation yet, but from the movie producer's side, they have in fact extended all kind of support to the injured and as well as those, and in fact to the woman's family as her son battles for his life.
All right, Swastika, we'll leave it at that. Swastika reporting for us from Hyderabad. A case likely to be registered against Allu Arjun, the hero of the movie Pushpa 2. His entrance or his availability there at that Sandhya Theatre is what the cops believe led to that stampede, in which, unfortunately, a 39-year-old woman lost her life. We'll take a quick break here on the program. When we come back on the other side, Donald Trump is already issuing warnings to all kinds of people, including the terrorist group Hamas in Gaza, saying that they have to release every single hostage from Israel and around the world that they have in their custody. There are about 100 of them who are still in custody well over a year after the October 7th attacks against Israel, in which over 1,000 Israelis died. Donald Trump is saying, and I quote, "There will be hell to pay if all the hostages are not released before the 20th of January 2025, when he will be inaugurated to office." Is this bluster? Is this a bluff? And what is the real leverage that Trump has, the kind of which Biden did not, to try and end the Israel-Hamas war? We'll explore that on the other side.
Over just a little bit before. I know it's not yours. Okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
Over just a little bit before. I know it's not yours. Okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
bit before. I know it's not here. Okay.
2 minutes. Okay.
Over just a little bit before. I know it's not here. Okay.
2 minutes.
US President-elect Donald Trump has demanded that the hostages who were taken in the Hamas-led attack on Israel be released from Gaza before he gets inaugurated into office in January. He has warned loudly on social media that there will be hell to pay in the Middle East for those who are responsible. Writing on Truth Social and without naming any particular terror group, Trump said, and I quote, "If the hostages are not released prior to 20th of January 2025, the date that I proudly assume office as President of the United States, there will be all hell to pay in the Middle East. And for those in charge who perpetrated these atrocities against humanity, those responsible will be hit harder than anybody has been hit in the long and storied history of the United States of America. And in all caps, release the hostages now." Unquote. About 250 hostages were captured in the Hamas-led attack on Israel on the 7th of October 2023. About 100 of them still remain in Gaza, with about a third believed to be dead. The Biden administration has been working over the last year with Israel as well as its international mediators, including Qatar and Egypt, on a ceasefire deal that would include the release of the hostages. But none of that has come to pass. Either Israel or Hamas has held up the ceasefire at different points of time. Earlier last week, when Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced the ceasefire with Lebanon-based terror group Hezbollah, he was asked, why not a ceasefire with Hamas in Gaza? He responded by saying he was open to a ceasefire provided Hamas releases all the hostages immediately and unconditionally.
נשלים את חיסול החמאס, נשיב את כל חטופינו, נבטיח שעזה לא תהווה עוד איום על ישראל, ונחזיר את תושבי הצפון בבטחה לבתיהם. המלחמה לא תסתיים עד שנשיג את כל יעדיה, ובכלל זה עד שלא נשיב את תושבי הצפון בבטחה הביתה.
Hamas, for its part, says it wants an unconditional and permanent ceasefire, which Israel has been holding off on. Meanwhile, Israel and Hezbollah have been going at each other with cross-border strikes over the last 24 to 48 hours, despite having publicly announced a ceasefire last week. It is still not clear how long this rather tenuous ceasefire will hold, or whether the fighting will resume in full throttle over the next few days. As of now, both America and France, both of whom were negotiators between Israel and Lebanon, are hopeful that better sense will prevail among both the warring parties. It's still not clear yet what tactics Trump might adopt that has already not been taken by Israel or by the United States. And of course, Israel has killed many of Hamas's leaders and thousands of its fighters. Much of Gaza has been left pummeled. Israel has been accused of killing more than 40,000 Palestinians in Gaza, many of them women and children. Trump said in his post on Monday that it's all talk and no action when it comes to the hostages, and his statement suggesting that he could use the power of his office to punish those who took the captives is the first sign of how aggressively Trump might handle his Middle East policy when he returns to office. Trump and Netanyahu share a warm bonhomie, and once in office, he might give Netanyahu the go-ahead to go all out against all the Iranian proxies who've been threatening Israel, which includes Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis, and perhaps the power center in Tehran itself. But at the same time, Trump may attach some conditions, even a timeline for Netanyahu to get the job done. Netanyahu's wife, Sarah Netanyahu, even visited the Trump home in Mar-a-Lago in Florida, showing the bond between both the leaders and their families. Trump's rhetoric includes threats of military action or even significant reprisals against Hamas, suggesting a more confrontational stand compared to Biden's diplomatic efforts. Trump is perceived as having established personal relationships in the Middle East during his first term, which could facilitate negotiations, which might not have been that effective under Biden. Trump supporters also argue that his reputation as a deal maker, after all, he wrote the book, The Art of the Deal, and shot to fame with that book, that could provide him with unique leverage over both Israel and Hamas. Trump's communication style is also more direct, more confrontational, appealing to a sense of outrage and urgency. This, of course, contrasts with Biden's more measured and empathetic tone. Trump has garnered support from the families of these hostages, who believe that he can exert more pressure on Israel to try and negotiate on behalf of their loved ones and for their immediate and early release. Trump's reputation for being a decisive actor may even resonate with some factions within Israel, particularly those within the ruling coalition government, who favor a stronger response against Hamas. Over the last year or so, there's been only one brief pause in the fighting, which led to the release of about 105 hostages. And efforts to broker any kind of ceasefire deal appeared to be stalled last month after mediators met in Egypt. Some hostages have also been rescued in Israeli military operations. But there have been protests and widespread frustration in Israel over the lack of a deal to secure the freedom of the hostages. Critics of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu have been saying all along that Netanyahu has failed to prioritize the release of these hostages over his own political survival. This is not the first time that Trump has addressed the conflict in Gaza and the fate of the remaining hostages.
We're going to get them back. We're going to get those beautiful kids in some cases, because they're always your children. You know, they'll say, oh, he said children. No, they're always your children. And some older people also, by the way, but we're going to get them back. We got to get them back. We can't let this happen again.
He had told Netanyahu earlier that he wants the war in the Gaza Strip to end before he returns to the White House. And at the Republican National Convention back in July, he said that he wanted the hostages returned and that all the captors will be paying a very big price. Trump's latest warning came after Hamas released a propaganda video showing the American-Israeli hostage Eden Alexander, who's just 20 years old, pleading with Trump to secure his release.
קוראים לי עידן אלכסנדר, ואני אסיר השבי החמאס.
The million-dollar question is, what leverage does Trump have over either party, Hamas or Netanyahu, which Biden did not? Perhaps he just has a bigger megaphone and a bigger stick. And sometimes that makes the difference in tough negotiations.
Greenland Laminates presents CNN News 18 Primetime Studio.
We are live from the CNN News 18 primetime studio presented by Greenland Laminates. Viewers, is Rahul Gandhi so opposed to Prime Minister Modi that he has allowed himself to be co-opted by a set of international actors, agents, call them what you want to destabilize the rise of India by forcing a regime change? The BJP is convinced that this is indeed the case. And today in Parliament, no less, it made some astonishing, staggering connections to back its claim. The Congress is the third leg of an anti-India nexus that includes George Soros and the OCCRP, announced BJP MPs both inside and outside Parliament. Their words, not mine. Viewers, listen in.
इस प्रोजेक्ट को फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट्स की फंडिंग है और उसका फोकस इंडिया के ऊपर भी है, और इस फॉरेन गवर्नमेंट की फंडिंग के साथ साथ जॉर्ज सोरोस के साथ भी इनका कनेक्शन है। अब ये केवल हम एक रिपोर्ट के आधार पर नहीं कह रहे हैं सभापति महोदय, मैं सदन का ध्यान आकृष्ट करना चाहूंगा कि विगत 3 वर्षों से ये क्या एक संयोग है कि जिस समय भारत की संसद का सत्र चलता है, मैं सिर्फ एक संयोग बता रहा हूं, भारतीय फार्मर्स के बारे में रिपोर्ट आती है 3 फरवरी 2021, बजट सत्र है 29 जनवरी 2021। पेगासस रिपोर्ट आती है 18 जुलाई 2021, मानसून सत्र है 19 जुलाई 2021। उसके बाद 31 जनवरी 2023 से भारत की संसद का बजट सत्र शुरू होता है और 24 जनवरी 2023 को हिंडनबर्ग रिपोर्ट आती है। मैं अपने विपक्ष के साथियों से पूछना चाहता हूं कि यह जान के हो रहा है या अनजाने में? अगर अनजाने में हो रहा है तो ईमानदारी से आइए और खुलकर चर्चा करिए। यदि जान के हो रहा है तो मैं अनुरोध करना चाहूंगा कि इसके ऊपर गहन जांच होनी चाहिए। विदेश का लाभ लेकर, विदेश की छांव लेकर जो भारत में हो रहा है, उनके लिए एक पंक्ति कहना चाहूंगा कि अपने वतन पर सदियों तक है रही हुकूमत गैरों की, लेकिन कुछ चेहरों पर अब तक धूल है उनके पैरों की।
और ये जो त्रिकोण है, इसमें एक तरफ अमेरिका में बैठे जॉर्ज सोरोस उनकी फाउंडेशन है, कुछ अमेरिका की एजेंसीज भी है। त्रिकोण के एक बहुत बड़ी न्यूज पोर्टल है जिसका नाम OCCRP। त्रिकोण के जो आखिरी कोने में, जो सबसे महत्वपूर्ण कोना जो हिंदुस्तान से संबंध रखता है, उस कोने में राहुल गांधी है, ट्रेटर ऑफ द हाईएस्ट ऑर्डर। Accusing him of being the traitor of the highest order was the BJP, and to bolster its point, it also put out a thread on Twitter or X to break down why it felt that Rahul Gandhi was part of a deep-seated conspiracy. The BJP says a French investigative platform has revealed that the US government controls the media organization OCCRP, dictating agenda. On 1st July 2021, the BJP says the OCCRP reported that Brazil had pulled out of a $324 million deal for Covaxin from India. On 2nd July, Congress quickly latched onto the article and pushed the narrative further. It points to another example. OCCRP began running hit jobs against the Adani Group, and Rahul Gandhi, along with Congress, followed the narrative. Then, viewers, to connect the third angle, the BJP says Soros' Open Society Foundation funds the OCCRP, pushing anti-India narratives globally. Now, if you don't know, viewers, but the OCCRP is a conglomeration of a number of journalists who call themselves independent investigative journalists, and they work together with very many newspapers around the world, including some Indian ones like Wire, Caravan, Indian Express, others, viewers. And the OCCRP